Lyndon Arthur is back, ready to stake a claim for a shot at world glory when he takes on Argentina's Walter Gabriel Schechiera. Part of a huge night of action on Saturday, September the 17th. It's live and free on Channel 5.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. It doesn't really get much bigger than the MGM Grand Las Vegas, especially on a Canelo fight week. But when you add Gennady Golovkin into that mix, I was speaking to Eddie earlier and I said, is this the biggest card you've put on since you moved into the US? Would you agree it is?
I thought you were going to say it doesn't actually get any bigger than interviewing Frank Smith at the MGM Grand here in Las Vegas.
That's what I meant.
That's where you were going. No, 100%. It's a massive fight. And when you look at over the last 5 years where we come through, the shows we've delivered, in terms of capacity, you know, we obviously Billy Joe Saunders was much bigger, but in terms of scale of the fight and the importance of the fight and the interest of the fight, yeah, 100%. This is one of the biggest, probably the biggest fight we've ever done in the US.
And the buzz in the MGM, especially after the first two fights that we've seen, sometimes we see the buzz isn't the same for the trilogy, but loads of Mexican fans here, loads of Kazakhstan fans here. And this is only the start of fight week. It's only going to increase as the week goes on. Yeah,
100%. I think, you know, this has been such a long time coming and building up, especially I don't know whether it's hate, dislike or whatever it is between the two of them. I think that all plays into it and makes it an even bigger occasion. And like you say, great to have both a load of Mexican fans and Kazakh fans in the crowd come Saturday.
We know for Canelo Bivol, Eddie was team Canelo firmly. We know you actually were team Bivol that week. What's the situation with Gennady and Matchroom? What's the promotional situation with him?
Look, obviously we're promoting the show as a whole. We work closely with Gennady Golovkin and his team for a long time. GGG Promotions promote Gennady Golovkin, but we have a good, very good relationship. And ultimately, my job is just to make sure everyone's happy and keep everyone happy across the board. So, I'm still Team Bivol, though, aren't I?
Should Canelo Alvarez come for it, even if he doesn't, I don't know what will happen next for Canelo, but should he win this Saturday night, are we expecting that fight with Dimitri Bivol next year?
Yeah, look, I think that's the fight that interests him most. You know, getting back in there and trying to avenge the defeat against Dimitri Bivol. 175. It was a great fight the first time round. I think that Canelo Bivol the second time round, there's been talk about whether it's at 168 as well. That would be interesting. But let's see. Obviously Dimitri's got the fight against Ramirez in Abu Dhabi first on November 5th, so he's got to get that out of the way as well. So two tough tests for both guys.
Frank, we know it's on pay-per-view in the States, of course, and back in the UK. How do you think it performs in the UK at half 4 in the morning?
Look, I think, ultimately it's a massive fight. We've seen the last fight was pay-per-view on BT Sport box office between the two of them. And I think it does strong numbers. It's a massive fight for boxing fans, and it's been a long time coming. So it's been built up for the last four years, is it now? Since the last one? Yeah, 4 years. Doesn't feel like 4 years ago, but it has. And I think there's a lot of people interested in seeing how it goes.
And in the US, how do you think it performs?
I think it does huge numbers. We saw great numbers when we did the Bivol fight. It was the first pay-per-view that DAZN had delivered in the US and delivered really strongly. And I think we expect massive numbers this week. It's a big fight, and I'm sure it will do. We only have to look at. I know you only have to look at the first two fights and what they delivered and what this can do.
Okay, well, roll on Saturday. I'm sure we'll talk about this fight and the card throughout the week. Let's just go back to the UK. Christopher EUBANK Sr. made some interesting comments when we were all flying over to the States. I mean, boxing Twitter was blowing up. The fight was off. Some people saying that they're playing mind games, trying to change the rehydration clause perhaps, the weight limit. So from your point of view, I mean, Eddie said that the fight's on. So from your point of view, just tell us about Chris EUBANK Jr. and Conor Benn.
Do you know what? For the first time in ages, I was on a plane with no Wi-Fi. 11 hours with no Wi-Fi. What did he say? 11 hours with no...
What did he say?
I don't know, ask him.
What did you say? Go on.
It's fine.
I think he said...
I've got thick skin, it's fine, honestly. I'm fucking very good at it. And coffee. I'm good at brushing up. Sorry, we were talking about Chris EUBANK Sr. I was on a plane with no Wi-Fi for 11 hours, and I landed, and my phone was just like hundreds of messages, and it just said, "Is the fight off? Is the fight off?" And I had shit myself, wondering what had happened. And then I saw the comments from EUBANK Senior. Look, ultimately, the deal's with Chris EUBANK Jr. The fight goes ahead as planned. I think maybe they are Chris EUBANK Senior's thoughts, but the fight goes ahead as planned.
Okay. Fury Joshua. We know that 258 and Joshua have accepted the terms from Fury and Frank Warren about the 60-40 split, 50-50 at a rematch clause, and December 3rd in Cardiff. So just touch on that, and we're expecting a signed contract to come your way this week.
Let's see, you know.
3. Eddie, they're calling him a T-boy.
T-boy, that's a bit hard. December, yeah, look, let's see when the contract comes through. You know, we met with George Warren the other day, and ultimately AJ accepted all the terms. He wants to make this fight happen, so let's see if it does.
I said to Eddie, you know, you're not going to sit down with them and make fights every week, but the fact that there's a line of communication now open with George Warren, and that fights can be made within British boxing, starting hopefully with Fury Joshua, surely that's a positive, Frank.
Yeah, 100%. I've always personally got on well with George and Francis Warren. Never really had many dealings with Frank, but George and Francis. So, look, ultimately, hopefully, we can make more fights, and it's for the good of boxing. And if it makes sense for everyone, then 100%.
Eddie was telling me that, of course, the broadcast situation in terms of BT and DAZN has to get resolved, but part of that, in terms of the major issues, we're good, it seems, for Fury Joshua.
Yeah, look, ultimately, these fights of this scale take a lot of work, a lot of contractual work between the parties. So hopefully we can get it over the line. But you know, we're all working towards making it happen.
I mean, December 3rd, when you look at it, isn't too far away. So if the contract comes this week, really, we're looking at next week, the week after at latest, to get it signed and get sort of a press tour underway.
Yeah, look, sometimes things take a bit longer than others, but let's see. We work very quickly, and hopefully we can get it over the line as quick as you suggest.
From what you're hearing from their side, you're confident this fight takes place?
Yeah, currently, yeah. I mean, look, I think how many times have we been down this road of talks of fights, etc., and not just this fight, but a number of fights. So I'm only really confident when the contract's signed. But look, we're all interested in moving in the same direction as far as we can all tell.
I hear what you're saying and what happened last time with the fight being signed, but there was always that background issue with Deontay Wilder and the arbitration. That was always a thing. It just seems like there's no obstacles, there's no mandatory for Fury. He had his one in April with Dillian Whyte. Obviously Joshua hasn't got any belts, so he's got no mandatories. No, but I'm joking. What I'm saying is there's nothing blocking this fight at the moment. And you guys have been talking, you and George. So.
Yeah, but like I say, fingers crossed. Still the work to be done on the broadcast side, but we've all got the intention of trying to make it happen. Yes.
Okay. Well, listen, we've got a major fight on our hands this Saturday night, live on DAZN pay-per-view. Canelo v Golovkin 3. Frank, I'll let you go. I'm glad you stopped getting hounded from the crowd. Just touch on the eyewear there as well. I've never seen you in glasses.
I can't see anything, so I've had to buy glasses.
Because we just went through life without seeing anything.
No, I can see obviously, but now I can see all the way over the road there. Never would have been able to do that before, so I've decided it's the only thing I could do is start wearing glasses. So hopefully they look all right.
Frank Smith, thank you very much.
Yeah, I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more times.
5 blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.